Welcome to the Papa Report. I'm Rebecca Powers. So happy to be with you this week with John Papa, founder and CEO of DPS Advisors. Great to see you, John.
Hey, Rebecca, how are you? Great to see you, too.
I always like to ask you and tell our viewers and listeners on the radio show, what does DPS stand for? Because it's important why you chose that name.
It's Diversified Planning Strategies. We made that name 36 years ago.
And it's important because we all know you diversify, right, to protect your portfolio. We've all heard that growing up. But let's talk about the planning and the strategy, because retirement truly is a strategy.
Right, and you have to have a plan. You know, having a bunch of statements when clients come in and show us, oh, here's our plan. It's a bunch of statements from the big box firms.
That ain't a plan.
That's not a plan. So what is the plan for if they need income, if they are worried about market risk, they're worried about taxes on qualified plans? That's not a plan. Having statements is not a plan.
And when you say they're worried about it, it's funny because a lot of us don't even know what to worry about. We just feel like we're worried about everything, and that's the worst feeling in the world.
Right. So if that's the case, you know, I wrote a book about avoiding the retirement traps, Rebecca, and that's what we're going to give people when they come into our office. It's really a book about the mistakes that we see people are making when they come into our office in their retirement plan or if they're saving for retirement. So we want to let you know, here are the things that we see that everybody's making, so don't feel like you're the only one out there doing it. Everybody's making these mistakes. So, and they're easy to fix. You just have to take the time and do it and get the plan going.
Exactly. And that's the wonderful thing to hear is the hopefulness. Don't procrastinate and be worried about looking at that, because they are easy to fix. And do you find 9 out of 10 times people are actually better off than they thought once they do bite the bullet and come in?
I don't know about 9 times out of 10, especially in times like now, what we're going on
maybe
now.
Not lately.
Everyone thinks that this 60-40 balanced portfolio is so good for them, and their portfolios are down 20-25% this year. So what they thought was this great plan they had isn't really working for them. So I mean, but there are some good things in people's accounts, and you know, we recommend you stay in those things. You don't change everything. Every plan doesn't have to be changed 100%.
Yeah. Okay, so you can join John every morning, well, every week, actually, on 9:70 a.m., The Answer. And I just want to tell everyone where they can find you. Saturday at 9 a.m. on The Answer, and then Sunday at 1 p.m. And I want to show this book again because you can't really see it on the radio. A lot of people ask about this, avoiding the retirement traps. Do you mind going through kind of what a lot of the traps are, what you could do to correct that?
Sure, Rebecca. You know, it talks about everything that affects a person in retirement or planning for retirement. You know, are you using Wall Street as your only investment strategy? Do you have an income stream issue? Do you need to create guaranteed income? Do you have legacy planning? If you want to plan to give stuff down to your heirs, your kids and grandchildren. Do you have a long-term care plan in place? And that's especially important today, where we're going with advanced care needs and things like that, nursing home and assisted living places. What's your long-term care strategy? Those costs could be astronomical. They could wipe people out. I've seen that, okay? So it basically breaks down, you know, it talks about risk in your portfolio, how much risk are you taking. So it breaks down all 7 different things that can happen with your retirement plan. And we provide some solutions and answers as to what you can do to fix those problems.
And you know, you said retirement plan. If you're sitting at home and you do not have a retirement plan, you just have that, you know, monthly statement, it is imperative. Imperative, right? I mean, how can you build a house without a blueprint? You said the word risk, and that's what I think we want to talk about today. Risk is not just, oh, the stocks are going down, inflation is going up. There are many different types of risk. Let's talk about that people aren't already aware of.
Everyone right now knows of the inflation risk that we're facing, because inflation is running at a highest in 40 years. You know, and they also know about market risk. When their stocks and bonds go up and down, there's market risk. There's inflation risk based on the cost of goods going up. There's interest rate risk, because when the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, that has a negative effect on the bond markets. So there's multiple kinds of risks that an investment tool faces that you need to understand and know how to deal with. That's the key. Knowing how to deal with the risk that you're taking. You know? So
I like to tell this story. I don't think I've ever told you this, but my sister was 58 and with a big box forever. And then on one of these shows, I learned that at 59 and a half, you can roll your 401k to a Roth, it's called a Roth conversion, and avoid penalties and taxes. And she said, well, why did my guy tell me that? I said, I don't know.
Because she didn't have a plan, and she's not working with a person who
or a real
is
relationship,
developing plans, or not having a real relationship either. That's so true. That's one of the things that we'll talk about when we hit taxes on qualified plans for people, Rebecca. Most people have no idea what they have to pay in taxes on these qualified plans. I'll give you an example. We had a client, a young person come in, and I showed, if you contribute $5,000 a year into your company 401k, right, you'll put away about $155,000 over your lifetime. Then you retire, and then it's going to grow for a little bit more, which is your balance will be somewhere around $500,000 to $600,000 in the portfolio when you're 72. Then you have to start taking distributions out. Okay, you pay no taxes while it's building up, so you got a deduction for the $155,000 you put in. But now you have to start taking required distributions out. And over your lifetime, we can measure you're taking out about $500,000 out of that portfolio. That's all taxable to you in your highest tax bracket. You can't avoid it; it's not avoidable, and it puts you in a higher bracket because you might still be collecting Social Security now, maybe have a pension as well. So that income is all taxed. Then when you live to life expectancy, there's still $600,000 left in that plan that's going to go to your kids or grandkids or whoever that they now have to pay taxes on. So for this $155,000 contribution that you got deductions for, you saved tax on $155,000, you and your family paid taxes on almost $1.2 million.
Wow.
No one knows that.
Wow.
So we have people coming in. I had a couple coming in the other day, like, didn't even know about the required minimum distributions. It's like, well, can I take it from somewhere else? I'm like, no, it's got to come out of your IRA. So we advise people, especially when they're younger, hey, listen, start looking at Roth stuff, tax-free stuff. Contribute to your company 401k if they have a match. Take the rest of your money you want to park for retirement, put it into something in Roth. Maybe they have a Roth version in the 401k, or do a Roth IRA outside, okay? And that's kind of the strategy that we'll talk about with people. That's planning.
Yeah.
We talked before about pre-planning your retirement. When do you start? You start when you first start working. It's not when you're 60. You should have this plan and tweak it as you go along.
Yeah. So if you don't have a plan and you're not having these conversations with your financial advisor or fiduciary, it is really important that you call this number and come in and have just a warm conversation, no obligation, leave your checkbook at home. John, let's give him that number for me, please, and we'll come right back and talk about taxes. Right.
So listen, for the first 15 callers, you're going to get introduced to what we call our Diversified Planning Strategies Report, the DPS report. Basically, it's a no obligation, complimentary 5-point review on all the different things that can help you or hurt you in retirement. Is market volatility an issue for you? Is market risk an issue? Taxes on your qualified plans that we just talked about. Social Security income planning, okay? Risk, volatility. You need to get your copy of the Diversified Planning Strategy Report. It'll get you on the track to having a stress-free retirement. That's what we focus on at Diversified Planning Strategies Advisors. So call 844-534-4452 and get your hands on the DPS report.
Absolutely. And we'll be right back more with the Papa Report. Stay with us.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have, by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
Welcome back to the Papa Report. I'm Rebecca Powers here with John Papa. So much information. I want to show this book again just to let you all know at home. When you come in to meet them, you will get a copy of this wonderful book that he and his late father wrote together about avoiding the retirement traps. John, before the break, we were talking about taxes and what are some of the wonderful tools. I mean, we're all good citizens. We want to do our part and pay taxes, but no one wants to pay more than legally mandated.
Exactly, Rebecca.
What are some of those tools?
So listen, especially on qualified plans, okay, we do a lot of work with clients in their qualified plan, IRA, 401k. So if you're not 72, which is the latest age, you have to start taking money out of that IRA or 401k at 72. If you have time before that, okay, the way the tax brackets are situated today, a person can withdraw up to $300,000 or have $300,000 worth of income on their tax return and still be in a 24% tax bracket in a married filed jointly tax return. So we're showing people strategies where you can convert your money. You're allowed to legally with the IRS. You can take money out of that IRA, pay a little tax now in a 24% tax bracket, and move it to a Roth IRA, and now it grows tax-free, creates tax-free income later on. And if there is legacy planning, it'll go tax-free to your children and grandchildren. So we look to measure, again, person situations, everyone's different.
Sure.
Let's do an analysis of, hey, how much can I actually pull out of my IRA and convert to a Roth without bumping me into a higher tax bracket? We want to stay in the 24% range around there and move it into a tax-free environment. That's a great strategy to help people reduce the future taxes they're going to pay. Because, Rebecca, you know, I don't know what your thinking is, but taxes are going to have to go up.
Right, 32 trillion in debt. It's got to come from somewhere.
32 trillion in debt, and in about a few years, there's going to be more retired people in the United States than there are working people in the United States.
Really?
Yeah. Who's going to pay for Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, all the unfunded government pensions that come out? Who's paying for all that stuff?
So you told me that by the end of 2025, it probably will change, right? We have the Trump tax law, whatever.
Right. The tax code right now is set to expire in 2025. Now, it depends on who's in office at the time and whether it's going to be extended or not. You know, we have to work under the parameters that we have right now.
Sure.
And right now, that's what the tax rates are. Let's take advantage of them.
Right.
And convert in a lower tax bracket to build a tax-free bucket.
And, you know,
for the future.
When we go shopping, we all love sales, right? We all go straight to the clearance aisles first. Right. So in essence, it kind of taxes are on sale right now. It's a good way to look at it.
That's a pretty good analogy, but it's hard to say we have to pay a tax. It's a sale on that. But yeah, you're paying less. But wouldn't
you rather pay less than when
Rebecca,
it's more?
Absolutely. I'd rather pay it at a 24% rate, knowing in the next 5 to 10 years it could be 35 or higher. Absolutely, It's a great strategy and something that everybody should be looking at and figuring out if it works for them.
Right. You know that saying, it's the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. It's like
exactly, right?
Know,
exactly.
That's one of the many, many tweaks. Do you have a story about someone that's come in and said, oh, I have to work 9 more years, you know, maybe as a teacher, going into Manhattan or whatever, they have to do this long, tough job. And you say, look, you're good.
Yeah,
you can retire now.
That actually happened the other day.
Really?
So I had a Zoom meeting, because now we do Zoom meetings because people are still, with the pandemic, some people still don't want to come in the office. So I did a Zoom meeting, and I don't really know how to set up the Zoom, but we figured it out. And clients, their issue was Social Security. When do I turn it on? Do I wait? Do I not wait? So we had a whole conversation about that.
Yes, that's very important.
And the first question I ask about Social Security is, how's your health? I want to know what your health is. Because if you're unhealthy and you don't expect to live the life expectancy, then maybe you should be taking Social Security earlier on.
Gotcha.
Okay? You can start taking Social Security at 62. That's the earliest you can take it. At 66, 67, depending on what year you were born, if you don't touch it then, it'll grow to 78% increases every year. So their question was, they wanted to know, when should they turn it on? The husband was 66, the wife was 63. And they're my clients, so we talked about all their assets, to what we have positioned in that three investment world discussion. And when we looked at all the assets they had, I said, you guys should go out for dinner tonight, because you're not going to have any issues. Let's
wonderful.
Go through the plan we have set up. They were like, are you kidding? He had a cigar, he had a martini, and they were hanging out. And I was like, you should pat me on the back.
Yeah,
so
I bet they
love
John
But
Papa.
that's the thing. When you show them that their plan is going to work, no matter what condition, what situation arises, the relief comes right off, and they have this stress-free retirement. That's what we try and build for everybody, a stress-free retirement.
I mean, you literally changed their lives.
Changed their life.
How does it feel?
It feels great. That's why I'm in this business.
Yeah.
That's why I do what I do. It's so much fun.
That's amazing. I love that. Did they take you to dinner too?
No, they're in South Jersey now. They're actually at the shore. They moved from by where I am in the Caldwell area to down the shore in Lavalette in that area. So they're calling me from down there. So I'm like, they're in shorts and T-shirts, and I'm working on the Zoom meeting, and I was actually making fun of them. Like, I should be down there having drinks with you. But so it's all fun. It's all good.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so Social Security, that is such one of the many pieces kind of the puzzle. We're going to take a quick break, but let's tell people what they about Miss Sue when they walk in the door. We're going to meet your son Luke. Let's talk about the phone number and the experience and the complimentary offer. This is a very big deal.
Right. So, folks, when you come into our office, you dial 844-534-4452, and our team will get you on the calendar to come into our office, and Sue's going to greet you. We don't want you to bring statements the first time. We don't want you to bring anything. We want to get to know you. We want you to get to know us. And we're going to introduce you to our Diversified Planning Strategies report. We call it the DPS report. It's going to give you a 5-point review of all the things that can affect you in retirement. It's going to help you make decisions as to what you should be doing in retirement, or if you're not retired, what you should be doing in your investment plans. It's a complimentary, no obligation review to come on in, stress-free environment. Dial 844-534-4452 and get a date on the calendar.
Absolutely. And stay with us more. We're going to be talking about Social Security and the importance of planning and having a roadmap for your retirement. We'll be right back.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Rebecca Powers here with John Papa. Always an interesting conversation. Of course, you can join him on the radio as well if you're driving into work, 970 a.m. The Answer, Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock and Sunday at 1 p.m. We were talking about Social Security, John.
Right, Rebecca.
Why is that such a big piece of your puzzle? I'll be honest, I'm 53 and I barely even think about Social Security.
Right.
Is it a big deal?
It's a huge piece. It's a huge deal, Rebecca. And the reason why it is because the rules. Nobody really knows what the rules are.
Yeah.
Right? You have no idea when you should turn it on. Can you turn it on, turn it off? There used to be all kinds of strategies that you can do. File and suspend, you could stop it and restart it and still get increases in your benefit.
So they changed that?
2015, while we were sleeping, the government voted, and next thing you know, there's no more maximizing Social Security benefits. It's pretty much the only decision is when do I turn it on.
Gotcha.
Okay?
So when you turn it on, can you turn it off and go back on or no?
You can, but you're not getting a benefit for that.
Okay.
When you're delaying, it's not growing at all. So what the really decision is at 62 years old, that's the earliest you can take it, is when do I want to turn it on? And there's a whole lot of factors that need to go about. We touched on them a little bit. How's your health? What other assets do you have? Do you have assets sitting in qualified accounts? Do you have assets sitting in non-qualified accounts? If you can take income from non-qualified accounts or even IRAs at a smaller tax, if you're not taking a lot out, you can delay that Social Security benefit, because if you wait from 66 to 70, you'll get that 8% increase every year in the benefit. okay? And, there's also cost of living adjustments. Now, they used to be really small, but because it's tied to the Consumer Price Index, the CPI, last year's cost of living adjustment in Social Security was almost 5%, a little more than 5% increase in that. So it really would behoove you to benefit, to delay if you can. But a person's situation will dictate that. Health, life expectancy, do you have other assets? Are your expenses too high? Do you have a pension? So all these things happen in the conversation. Yeah. That's what we're trying to learn from you as the client, and what you're trying to hear from us, teaching you, educating you on what the rules are so you can make a good decision.
Yeah, you just said the word teaching, because I love that at your office you also do education seminars.
We do.
Lunch and learns.
Lunch and learns,
Let's talk about that. Do your clients love it?
Yeah, clients love it. So we'll have a lunch and learn. We'll invite 10 clients. We'll tell them to bring a neighbor, bring a friend, whatever you want. Come in, have lunch on us, and we're going to talk about a topic. And we'll just pick a topic. It could be Social Security planning, could be taxes, unqualified plans, inflation, market volatility. And just have a half hour, 45-minute conversation, then have a great lunch. And just introduce ourselves to a bunch of new people, and our clients love it. They're like patting themselves on the back. They bring their friend. This is our advisor. This is what they're doing. So we really love doing those things.
And you're referred so much, and that speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yeah, we are. So it's really cool. And we back to the teaching thing. We have a saying in our office: educate and empower people so that they can make better decisions with their hard-earned money. That's what we're trying to do at DPS Advisors.
Absolutely.
I learned that a long time ago from my dad. He's like, educate people, treat them with respect, and they'll come back, they'll stay with you forever. And that's kind of our client family.
Yeah,
we
and that's
love
all
what we do.
Yep. You get that people want to be treated as individuals and be respected and understood.
I get all the time. So if your mother was going to invest, what would you do with your mother?
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, my family is doing what we tell you, what we advise our clients to do. We're all in the same stuff. We're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
We're the same as everybody. We're no different than anybody else.
We were talking about Social Security. For someone with a spouse, it's different. But for someone who's single, it could be a little more scary, right? Let's talk about, if you have a spouse, how that can help.
Well, let me tell you exactly, with a spouse, because actually, let's talk about an ex-spouse. I had a client come in 2 weeks ago who was divorced, and she was debating on whether she should turn on Social Security. She was 66 years old, and I was just asking her some questions. I said, have you ever been married? She goes, oh yeah, I'm divorced now. I said, okay. How long were you married? I was married for 15 years. I'm like, okay. And when you guys were married and you were working, your husband was working, who was making more money and putting more money into the Social Security system? She said, well, my husband was. And I said, okay, well, do you know you can file for his benefits as an ex-wife?
Get out.
Yeah, she had no idea. So she was going to file under her own benefit when she can file under his and receive his benefit, as long as she's still single, not remarried and things like that. So,
whoa, you're blowing my mind. I thought I'd heard everything.
No, Rebecca, knowing the rules is a big part of Social Security planning and using it to your advantage. So we were able to get her to file, and she now filed under her ex-husband's Social Security benefit. So she got a much higher benefit on a monthly basis.
I hope he's not watching, because he's going to be calling your office.
Rebecca, funny you say that. She actually asked me, she goes, well, is my ex-husband going to find out? I'm like, it doesn't matter. He finds out. It doesn't have any effect on his benefits at all.
It doesn't affect, take away from his bottom line?
No, it doesn't affect him at all.
You're kidding.
No, it doesn't matter. That's a benefit of Social Security. If you were married at least 10 years, you can file on your ex-spouse's
wow.
benefit. Yeah.
You have so many people at home right now going, yes.
I mean, listen, I'm not trying to create problems between exes, but...
No, but if it doesn't matter.
Right, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
If it doesn't affect
those
him.
are the things, the little things that when you're sitting down with a client and they had no idea, and you help them out on something like that, they're like, wow, I'm so glad I met you. So glad we're here in the office.
Yes.
It's what makes me do what I do.
I know, and I guarantee you find out more about them in 1 hour than anyone has ever asked them in any financial firm they've ever used in the past.
So true.
It's amazing. All right, only 3 minutes left in the show. Let's talk just very quickly about Roth conversion one more time, because I think we kind of got off on Social Security.
Yeah, so Roth conversion could be a great strategy for a person who is not 72 years old. Okay. So once you get to the required minimum distribution age, that deal is kind of over, because you have to take the money out and pay income taxes on it. But prior to 72, so if you're in your low 60s or even mid 60s or late 50s, depending on where your money's sitting, if you're over 59 and a half, you can even take money out of your current employer's, your 401k, and do an in-service rollover. You're allowed to do that once you're 59 and a half.
Isn't it funny how the government picks such random things?
Random
59
name,
and a half and
ages,
3/4.
right, 59 and a half. Just makes it difficult, right?
Exactly.
So what we'll do is we'll measure whether, hey, let's take some money out and put it into an IRA, and let's see if we can convert some. We need to take a look at your tax return. Let's see if we can convert some, stay in a low tax bracket in the 24% range, and then move it into a Roth IRA so that all your future income, growth, passing on down to legacy to kids and grandkids is all tax-free forever, no matter what the tax rates go to in 2025.
That's amazing.
Or no matter what. Roth conversion's a great tool. Everybody should be doing it. Everybody should be looking at it. I shouldn't say they're doing it. Everyone should be looking at it to see if it's a viable strategy for them. Everybody.
And once you give that complementary portfolio and you're looking at the whole big picture, then they start to see what tools, and then you're empowering them.
That's part of our Diversified Planning Strategies report. That's one of the things we talk about, taxes on qualified plan. Now, how old are you? Do we have time to convert? And we do that all the time.
Yeah, fantastic.
All the time.
All right, we're getting ready to say goodbye to you all, but I wanted to give this to you and show it to you one more time, avoiding the tax traps, the retirement traps. There are 7 of them, and he wrote this with his wonderful late father. So you have been in this business really all your life, and your son Luke is now joining you soon.
Just graduated college, and he's coming in. He's studying for his tests. So
that's so amazing.
Good luck, Luke.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck, Luke. Study hard. Let's invite our viewers to come in. We only have about 5 slots left, but when you call into this number, please have your calendar ready so we can reserve you a spot to come in and meet John and his group.
Right. So what they're going to do, Rebecca, when they come in, they're going to call 844-534-4452. That's going to start the process. Our team will get them a date on the calendar, and then we will start in that first meeting. We'll introduce them to the Diversified Planning Strategies report. Now, you don't have to bring statements in that first meeting. You want to just come on in and introduce yourselves and get to know us, and we'll get to know you. That's fine, too. But we'll introduce you to the Diversified Planning Strategies report. It's a 5-point review that'll go over everything that could affect you in retirement, whether it's Roth conversion strategies, when to turn on Social Security, market risk, market volatility, how much risk are you taking in your portfolio. So those are the things you'll get in this DPS report. So dial 844-534-4452, get your date on the calendar, and we'll get you to a stress-free retirement, which is what we all want.
Absolutely. Thank you, John. And it's no cost, no obligation. We hope you will join us again next week for the Papa Report. Remember to join John at 9:70 a.m. The Answer twice a week. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining us.